What's up, internet? Lots of projects going on. You can see I got all kinds of machines in here, and we're finally back on the YFZ450. In the previous video on this thing, we tore it all the way down to the frame, tore the engine completely apart, and today we're going to start putting it back together. So you can see here, we did a complete color change, and we got the frame repowder coated. So I've already got the party started, and I put the subframe on and a couple other little doodads. Got a brand new OEM airbox. I just set it in there just to see what it's all about. And then I put all the bolts back in, just see where everything goes. I got all the OEM hardware redone. And some of this stuff I just bought new, like these bolts right here, brand new. Check these out. I got the OEM motor mounts re-zinc coated, the bolts re-zinc coated. Here's another pile of parts that are ready to go. But what we need to do is we need to get this engine in the frame, and this is all freshly rebuilt. I put a Yamaha OEM crank in it. You can see I got a bunch of new goodies here. I have the clutch cover. This is just bling. New bolt kit. New spout here. Got the lines zinc coated and all kinds of goodies. These are kibble white studs. So anyways, I don't have this side on there because the stator is actually hardwired into the wiring harness from the factory on these for whatever reason. So long story short, let's get this engine in the frame. It's me from the future, and before we get the engine in, that's right here, you need to subscribe, because 92% of you that are watching my video are not subscribed, and I don't appreciate that. So make sure you subscribe. Close, kind of in the right area. There we go. All right, that bottom bolt is in. All right, so I just got the motor mounted in, the pivot bolt here. You know, we just got it lined up in this bottom mount. Now we have to put the top head mount in and the front ones, front engine mounts. But look at that, that thing looks good. That thing is looking sweet. We still need to mount this all up. I just got some random bolts here. But you can see I got the OEM mounts re-zinc plated. I mean, they look brand new. So those will look sweet in there. And I did the same thing with the upper mount. I already have the aluminum block up there. So now I just need to start mounting everything up. All right, those are loosely fitted. All right, now let's do the front here. Here's our brand new, or it's not brand new, it's our OEM bolt, re-zinc plated. And I got a bunch of bolts, nuts and bolts from, I don't know, nutsandbolts.com or something like that. Not sponsored, but I put them in this little organizer that I had from my Amazon kit. So these are all really nice fasteners. It was, you know, it's more economical to buy brand new on the smaller stuff. So there's that. And then most likely our foot peg, or not our foot peg, but our Nerf bar we'll use this hole, but we'll go ahead and put that in there for now. There we go. Here's this one. Now that everything's loosely fitted and all the bolts holes line up, I think now's a good time to start tightening things down. Let's just chase our threads real quick on this one. Now this is red Loctite, but I don't know. It seems to be just like regular strength. Who knows? But engine bolts, you don't want them coming out, so. We're just going to tighten this one up because our Nerf bars are most likely going to go on here. All right, I've already chased the threads in this top mount, so we'll throw these bolts in. One thing about rebuilding stuff is the bolts will come loose, so I just like to freaking make sure we don't have any bolts coming off on the trail, track, whatever. Okay, all of our engine mounts are torqued down, except for, like I said, these. We'll probably have to take this back off for the Nerf bars. And you can see I've just marked them all, just so I know if they loosen up or not. That one's marked too. So next thing we need to do is get the swing arm on. And this thing's really greasy for me installing all the bearings. And this might be a booger. This might be a pain. Not 100% sure yet, but we gotta take this bolt back out for the engine. Uh-oh, maybe we shouldn't have tightened this engine down before. Maybe we should not have tightened it down before we put the swing arm in. Oh, yep. I think we made a mistake by tightening it all down before putting the swing arm in. Boom, there we go. All right, I really need to grease that bolt up first. Okay, now our swing arm is in. Look at that. All right, so the torque specification on the swing arm bolt here says 72 foot-pounds. And we're gonna put some red Loctite on here. I've cleaned off the threads, and this is all new stuff. This bolt is new, the nut is new, and so is the washer in there. So this torque wrench I used on my 250EX, and it pulled the head stud out, or the nut. So let's hope this is accurate. And even if it's not accurate, this should not be catastrophic, so. So it's torqued. I even went a little bit more, so we don't have to worry about that. Now I gotta Loctite all this stuff and re-torque it, which is fine. So I'll do that next, and I won't bother you with that. All right, now that the engine's all mounted, I do want to put the stator cover on and the wiring harness, but I do think I want to put the front end on first, just so the weight is even. I mean, this, yeah, it's a little wonky. So here are the A-arms. I've already rebuilt them. This is all new. The only thing that is not new is these misalignment spacers here. Now I cleaned them up. They are a little worn out. These ones are pretty good. These right here, yeah, especially that one. So I'm gonna put them on, and if I have to order new ones, we'll order new ones, but I want to get this thing together. So I guess let's start with the bottom ones. So as you can tell, I had all the hardware re-zinc plated. So these things fit. Might be a tight squeeze. Alright, I think it'll go on now. We gotta make sure this is even the right size. We might even be on the wrong side here. No, it's definitely the right size. Look at that. You can't beat that, bro. Nice and tight. Alright, I think our bolts should slide in pretty good here now. Look at that. Just look at it. Just look at this. Look at that. All right, so these don't need to be that tight. I'm sure there's a torque spec, but you just want them snug, I think. All right. Oh yeah, see, I just barely snugged them, and those things are pretty stiff. Well, we'll just leave it for now, but we might have to loosen them up. Plus, once we ride it, get some grease in here, hopefully those will loosen up, but tight is right. Right? Something like that. Let's do the next side.
Marketplace grab, neglected relic from a golden era lab. Ran alright, but the shakes won't quit. Pulling the engine, dealing with it. Old school 450 Lone Star frame. Swing arm, A-arms, axle the same. Vibration's a problem, I'm setting it straight. Bringing it back, no time to wait. Garage floor's a mess. Tools in my grip, cranks off kilter, gaskets rip. Golden days of quad, racing call. This thing's been down, I'm fixing it all. Old school 450 Lone Star frame. Swing arm, A-arms, axle the same. Vibration's a problem, I'm setting it straight. Bringing it back, no time to wait.
sand keeps coming out of these tubes from the sandblaster. But anyways, we got the front end completely, well, I guess not completely, but we got the A-arms completely mounted up. No hiccups, everything mounted in beautifully. Brand new bolts, redone bolts, fresh powder coat, brand new ball joints, brand new heim joints. So I think the next thing we can start on is putting the stator in. And the first thing I need to do is go clean out this stator cover, because although it doesn't particularly look like it might be dirty, a long time ago I powder coated a stator cover for a KLX 110 and I didn't clean it out good enough and the engine started knocking. The little bit of dirt from in here got in on that main bearing, the crank bearing, and I mean, it still ran. It just made a little funny noise. So I don't want to deal with that. So we're going to clean this out real quick. All right, so I got the ignition cover all cleaned out here. Probably should chase all these threads first. All right, so now that we got them all chased out there. Oh, man. This wire literally just came off the stator here. Oh, great. I mean, I think I can repair this. I'm not really good at soldering. Well, I knew it was too good to be true. Well, I guess I gotta solder this on here somehow. Alright, I have no idea what I'm doing here, but let's do it anyways. I got me a soldering iron from Harbor Freight and a couple other doodads. So first what I need to do is remove the old piece of wire that's in here. So heck, we might even be able to just do this right here. I'm not sure. Alright, I think that's it. It's not the prettiest, which I already knew that was going to be the case. Should we make it a little prettier? Alright, so our wire is on there. Now we're going to put this liquid electrical tape on here. So we'll let that dry and then we'll put this baby on. Our stator is hopefully repaired. We can drop it in. It looks like it should just drop in like this. And I guess before I really start hunkering stuff down here, I should probably figure out where all this goes. This looks like it goes right here. I wonder if this goes the other way. Okay, so I have the stator mounted up. The phone died or something. Anyways, kind of routes underneath that guy. Comes around here. Had to put some fresh bolts in because our old ones were stripped out. And they had done that before. So anyways, you know, I thought this was all OEM, and then I started really looking at it and doing some research. You know, I don't know, first of all, I don't know why it's like hardwired into this plug. It is what it is. But then I looked at this part number here. I looked at this QR code, and I was like, you know what, QR code, that is not an OEM. So I Googled this part number. You know, it also has 2020, well, 24, so I assume 2024, right? Probably 20th day of 11, 11th month, 2024. So I looked at this part number, and this is like an 07 and up harness. And the more I researched, the more I learned, this is the regulator. This was like an update. Now, if you look here, that definitely looks kind of Chinese. And this thing, I don't know, the ceramic and the heatsink here, not in the best shape, but I think we can make this work. So long story short, this is all China.
I love China.
China. I love China. And I was thinking about just ordering a whole other harness. That was the right year, but this is already China, and as long as I can, get over myself that this is hardwired in, I think you can even push these in a certain way and get the pins out. So anyways, this, I remember it leaking a little bit of oil, so I just got this, The Right Stuff gasket maker. So we're just gonna get some in here between the wires. So I'm not gonna do this one-handed. I'll get this all situated, and then we can put this back on the bike. All right, I got some RTV on there, and I RTV'd on this side, and then I electrical taped it, and then I RTV'd the rubber thing into there. So next, we'll throw this on the engine and get it all hooked up. Cover here, put some RTV on that rubber. Here goes our wiring harness. Also, the centering dowels are here, and the starter idler gear here is installed. So it should. Look at that. The old magnet did the trick. Now here's your bolt kit from Respect Bolt, the complete engine kit. I've also been liking this to just put bolts on. This is like a gyroscopic screwdriver, and I got a 1/4-inch thing in there. I'll have this in the description if you're interested in checking these out. All right, here's our starter gizmo gear reduction. Put a little grease on there just so it slides in nice. And then I cleaned this out, this cover, greased it up. And we got a fresh O-ring here too. Now there's a little tab right there that faces up. This should just go just like that. Pop in really because of that new O-ring. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, we need to chase that out, I guess. So we need to put our starter in next. You can see I've cleaned it up, or I'm still cleaning it up rather. And that's what it was looking like, and this is what it is looking like. So all I'm doing is a little brake clean and this little wire brush here, and getting all the yucky off. Okay, I got the starter cleaned up pretty good. It's not perfect, but greased up the O-ring. So let's go ahead and throw it in here. Uh-oh. We're gonna have to take something apart here. Maybe the stator cover. The stator cover will be relatively easy. Oh wow, it literally just fell right in. All right, let's see if we can get this thing to drop in. Oh yeah, look at that. Then you have to pull it the whole way off. famous. All right, the pivot bolt is out again for the second or third time, so I can get this on. This is the chain slider, and this one I could get on with the swing arm mounted, but this is 3D printed, it looks like, and I don't know, it just seems like this thing might rip off. Now this is a plastic one, and this one seems like it's gonna fit on here better, I think. All right, crisis averted. We got the chain slider on, and it lines up with the sprocket. Well, hey, thought it did. Maybe we gotta push this over a little bit. Yeah, maybe we gotta adjust a little bit. But anyways, that is in. I got a nice little hex guy with the little shoulder on it. Let's throw this chain slider on, chain guide, and let's hope this one goes smoother. So this slides in just like this. Now, I had bought these two specific bolts. These are 50 millimeters long, and I had bought these for the rear brake caliper. So these are a little long, but that's what I got. Maybe I throw a washer on either side and a nut. These are the best bolts I got. So we'll stick that nut on there, or that washer, and this nut. I think right here we can put this chain roller. This is a cheap one, but it's what I got. So you're seeing this thing as it actually sits when this video uploads. You can see I threw the headlights on. I may have already shown this. And we have an issue. These are gussets right here that are not factory, and those are in the way of this mount. Uh-oh. I also don't have the correct bushings at the moment. So this is where we're going to leave off for now. I wanted to get more done, like I said. Let me know in the comments about the resistor and this wiring harness, what I should do, if I should keep the setup I got, you know, just double check all this stuff. Let me know about this connector. Is the stator supposed to be hardwired into this? I'm not exactly sure. Seems a little weird. Seems like there should be a connector here. I don't know. We have a lot more parts to install. This is just a few of them. I put the brake rotor on this one, and then I saved this one to do with you guys, but here we are. I still have all kinds of bolts and all kinds of parts everywhere here. Still have all kinds of vapor blasted parts we have to reassemble. We have to press on the spindles to the knuckles, and lots of other brand new parts still in the boxes here. So 80% of you guys that are watching are not subscribed. If you made it this far into the video, obviously you think this is pretty cool or whatever. So make sure you subscribe, because you might miss out. The algorithm might not show you my video again. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next week.
Real Jesse Peterson finds in the rough, dirt bikes